Welcome everybody, this is Brother Mute here. Today we're actually looking at a build someone requested. This is actually a Tiefling build for an Eldritch Scion, a pure Eldritch Scion. That was their request. That could tank. Now I don't know that this is going to be a build that's going to last soloing all the way to the end of the content. I wouldn't say that. This is definitely a strong build, pun intended. It is going to be a solid build for attacking and for doing what it's supposed to, which is melee, as well as being armored up, buffed up, and taking damage. As you'll see, we stopped at level 18 because I want to show you some spells as we level up, and it's harder to do that for suggestions of what I would think would be suitable replacements. So we stopped at 19 for a reason. At 19 you get this greater spell access, which allows you access to a spell supposedly, according to the tooltip, one from each level. So level 1, 2, all the way up to level 6. That is not the way it is currently in the game. Again, I've talked about this many times before because I love Eldritch Scion. This is one that's warped right now, where you can pick from whatever level you want, and you can pick 6 spells, period. So, 1 through 6 is free game, 6 from 6, 3 from 5, 3 from 4, whatever you want to do, mix and match is fine. I'm going to build one that literally is going to be game friendly, which means if they ever patch this part to be what's suggested in the tooltip, they will get a spell from level 1, 2, 3, and on all the way to level 6. So pick what you want at that point, Gregory, but by and large, this is what I'm suggesting. Okay, so level 19, I've leveled you up to put decent points in persuasion and use magic device, because these are your green dots. You have a decent charisma. We're not putting anything in it beyond 16. They'll give you level 6 spells, as you can see. Of course, gear can raise this up and therefore give you more spells per day, so that's a thing, but it won't do you anything other than that. And your DC is going to be low, so don't rely on spells that literally have a DC check. So we're buffing, we're using spells with no saves. The spells that do have saves, we're just kind of doing AoE ones and hoping for the best kind of thing. You do have a pretty solid melee attack bonus right now, and that is really because your strength is through the goddamn roof. If you literally look at your strength, you see it says 18. You're actually at a 24 at this point because you're Abyssal Bloodline. For the race, I picked Pitborn, and that's because it gives you a +2 to strength, +2 to charisma, and a -2 to intelligence, which I leveled off by putting it back up to 10. I went 13 starting at Dex, 18 starting here for strength. We didn't put any other points in strength at this point. We're relying on Abyssal Bloodline to bump you 6 more points, so the 24. And I put the other 4 points, and the last point, of course, will go here in Constitution. So this started at 14. We're working it up to 18. So you have as many hit points as possible is kind of the goal here. Not as possible, but a decent number, so you can quote-unquote tank like you want to. You have decent athletics, obviously, as a result. Maybe this is overkill. I don't know. For the green dots, you don't have a lot going for you for Eldritch Scion, which is sad. But I did a decent number and used magic device and persuasion. I'm stopping at this level here because if you get that magic whoop-ass gear of +8 to all your mental stats and physical stats, that means you can add another 4 to these two. So 16 becomes 20 for both of these. And that's if you get your charisma a +8 bump, which does exist in this game. Your strength again would be from 24, which is what is that right now, could be another 8 higher, so that would be 32 for strength max. And again, that's not counting some other things, you know, like turning into a dragon and blah blah blah. So definitely a very strong, solid strength based build. From there, any weapon you want is fine as long as it's one-handed and has the highest crit range that the game offers, which is an 18, 19, or 20. So we did not take weapon focus or weapon specialization because there really wasn't any need to. A +1 to hit is nice. A +2 for damage per swing is nice, but you have retarded strength. There's no reason in the world for you to actually put it just a tiny bit more over. There was better uses for your feats for defense purposes. So pick a weapon, a rapier, a kukri, bastard sword's okay. I don't think it's great, but it's okay. I'm sure I'm missing. Oh, scimitar is another fine choice. Any of those work. Find the best one you find in the game, give it to your main character, this guy, and as long as it has an 18, 19, or 20 normal crit range, that's your melee weapon. Okay? Kukris are plentiful in this game. There's a decent scimitar too that's specifically made for Magus builds. Grab it. Rapiers, plenty of those. Any of those work because the weapon itself isn't what's doing the damage, it's your spell damage through the weapon and the buffs to your strength that's really going to capitalize on your damage in melee combat. Okay, I'm going to stop with athletics now and start pumping Arcana and World just to have something else to do. Could I have put them in other things? Sure. You're not trained in anything else, so if you really want to have a little bit of knowledge in nature and religion, now you can attempt those checks. More likely than not, you're going to fail those checks. So it really didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. You could just, from this point, floor up some perception. But again, I'm assuming you're going to run as a party. So you're pretty good at athletics. I can make it great if you want. And I kept these to reasonable numbers. I don't know how high you need to go for UMD. This one here, I say 16 to 20 is going to be a really nice bonus for you. I'm fairly certain you'll be able to use whatever magic device you want in the game, within reason. Persuasion, again, a 16 to 20, really nice checks for you. And again, you're not necessarily the face of the team. You can be if you want. You're also the muscle of the team, clearly. So your athletics was put through the damn roof thanks to that. So that's nice. And there's ways, this is penalized right now because of the studded leather, but only by a -1. Obviously, it'd be even worse if you put on plate mail. But again, there's ways around that. You'll see here in a moment. Let's get to your feats. So let's tell you what we've built you here, buddy. You started out with dodge, got improved unarmed strike. There's a reason for this. Since you specifically said you did not want to cross dip, you did not want to even take one level of monk, which I personally think is a mistake, but it's on you. This is your build. Because of that, I wanted to get improved unarmed strike for a couple of reasons. One, crane style, crane wing, and where the hell is it at? Crane riposte are amazing. This will allow you, if you're wielding a one-handed weapon, which of course you will be, you don't use a shield because you have spells for that, and you want to be able to cast spells while attacking. You have to have one hand free at all times. Therefore, crane style works all the time as long as you got the toggle on. So you get that as soon as 5. That means you fight defensively. Fighting defensively increases your armor and a penalty to your attack roll, a -4 penalty. Pretty nasty. You're not going to fight defensively at the beginning unless you have no choice. Your strength is good. It's not so good that you can ignore that 4 penalty. That's massive. Crane style drops it from a -4 to a -2. Then when you get to crane, is it crane wing or crane riposte? Where are you at? Here you go. Crane riposte. Your -4 penalty, which dropped to a -2, is now at a -1, thanks to crane riposte. So long as you're fighting defensively. And again, huge defense bonus for you. Big armor class bump. You have to have, go back to skills. Oh, hell. I am breaking the game. You have to have 3 in mobility to actually make this work. So I almost forgot. So that's a good save on my part. So you don't have 3 in here. So that would have been probably less Arcane World to get that to 3. That's because to fight defensively, if you have a mobility of 3 or greater, again, not this, points, actual rank of mobility has to be 3 or greater, you get it like a +1 to your armor class. So we definitely want that. From there, where was I? Dodge, improved armor strike, crane style, crane wing. Down here you'll see we took deflect arrows, another reason you want to improve armor strike. I figure if you're the tank, you're the main focus, you might as well be getting as much aggro as possible. Why not guarantee that the first arrow that's coming into you per round, you deflect naturally? Doesn't matter if it's enchanted, if it's regular arrow, magic arrow, as long as it's a ranged weapon attack, poof, you deflect it. As long as you're not flat-footed. So you really need to make sure your initiative is high, which is kind of a bummer because you don't really have high initiative. We didn't get it all the way until 11 for the improved initiative, and your dexterity is pretty low. Maximum is going to be 14. Yes, you can bump that with spells. Yes, you can bump that with gear. But until you find that, you're going to be taking a lot of arrows to the face, sadly. So deflect arrows will help. It won't be a catch-all. But it's there to help. You tank. That's the whole purpose behind it. From there, magic extend. I love my meta magics. I only picked one, so I was being conservative. I pick extend for the reason that your buffs are what you're going to be relying on to tank. So spells that are protecting you have a duration. So I figured why not give you the option of having that duration be double. Hence the reason for the extend spell. That's why this is here. Okay. From there, we went to Proved Initiative, as you see. Of course, we wanted to make sure with Crane Riposte that very soon as we can get these. So this is where Crane Riposte would be the very earliest you can grab this, since you didn't go Monk. Same with Crane Wing. This is the soonest you can get it, because you didn't go Monk. And that's fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad decision. If you had gone one level of Monk, A, we would have saved off on this feat, and B, you would have had even more armor, because I would have made you go Scaled Fist, which means your Charisma bonus would have added to your armor class. Yes, you would not be able to wear armor, but that's the trade-off again, right? And that's okay. It's not that it's a bad choice. From there, Power Attack, yes, it's late. Level 13 is a long way to get to this one. But at this point, I honestly feel you can actually splurge a little bit and take another penalty hit to your swing, because you're so strong at this point, because you got a +2 at level 9, a +2 strength bonus at level 13, and then you'll get another +2 at level 17, and that'll be the last. That's because of Strength of the Abyss, as you see here. Extremely nice. From there, we went, I had to pick something, so I said, what the hell? I picked Cleave, Cleaving Finish. This one actually is a move where you have to click a target. You only get one swing in that round, because you are specifically saying, I'm picking this now. You take that swing, and if you hit another opponent within range. Now, this one is auto. What that means is you don't have to use Cleave to make this one work. If I kill somebody in range, melee range, then I immediately attack another opponent within melee range. So basically 2 swings for the price of 1. You only get 1 per round with this feat, but it's helpful. You know, again, you're going to be the tank, you're going to be in the middle of the thick of it all, your strength's going to be huge, you might as well kill something. If you get the killing blow, then you take another free swing. Why the hell not? And there's other cleaving moves that we can pick here at level 19, which you'll see here in a moment. We also picked Great Cleave here. We doubled up. So here's Cleaving Finish, and here's Great Cleave. Great Cleave is an addition to Cleave. Again, you click the move, you hit a target, and normally you only get 1 attack after. If you connect with the first one, then you're going to swing and hit this buddy right next to him. Only 1 attack. But because of Great Cleave, you can literally continue to attack so long as you continue to hit. So if there's 5 guys standing there, I click Cleave, hit the first dude in the face. I don't have to kill him, just hit him. Poof, I hit him in the face. Well, guess what? I'm going to hit the next guy, or take a swing at him. If I hit him, then I hit the next, swing at the next guy, and then continue to go on until I run out of targets. So, pretty badass. Yes, there's a penalty to your armor class for this, but I think you can handle it, because your armor class is going to be through the roof with buffs, gear, and of course all the skills and feats that we're working on right now. Pretty nice. So, from there, we have one more to pick. Again, we're going to get that in a moment. Remember, you buff your weapon, so you can get a +1 to +2 and all the way up to a +5. And that's in addition to the weapon itself. So if the weapon already has a +1 enchantment on it, you can add to that enchantment. Now it says the maximum of +5 is the maximum stacking buff. That's good news, because if you have a +3 weapon, I click this, it's a +5 weapon. Well, I'm wasting buff. Sure, but that's why all these other abilities that are built into it are something you're going to want. So you can make it a flaming weapon. You can make it a keen weapon, increasing the crit range, which of course is going to be awesome. That's definitely a thing. If it's not a keen weapon, you want to have it being keen. So that's going to take an enhancement bump away from you. So a +5 now goes to a +4 because I made it keen. I could make it with these other abilities. I could increase the duration from 1 minute to 1 minute per Magus level, which Enduring Blades at level 6 is the first and obvious pick here. Ghost Blade is an obvious pick here because, again, it gives you 2 effects, Ghost Touch as well as the Brilliant Energy. Brilliant Energy, again, allows you to swing your weapon and basically treat it like a touch attack, which means it ignores all their armor, their shield bonus, their armor bonus, and it goes straight through the core of all that stuff. Now, it doesn't work on everything, so there's that. But that's why we got these other ones like Prescient Attack, which ignores their dexterity, or Dimension Strike, which ignores their armor. And you might say, well, you already have one that ignores their armor in Brilliant Energy, and yes, we do. However, this does not work on, I want to say, undead or constructs and blah, blah, blah. This one will work on anything. And it does not last 1 minute per caster level. It is a 2-point expenditure to last for 1 entire round, and that's it. So if you're missing guys left and right and they're undead or they're constructs or whatever because that Brilliant Energy blade is doing piss all, use your Dimension Strike, and then for that 1 round, capitalize on that damage on the guy that you're missing on. That's what this is for. Okay. Also, of course, Bane Blade, can't say enough great things about it. This is the obvious pick, 15, because this is the first time you get it. So that's why this is here. You don't have to take Prescient Attack, and you don't have to take Dimension Strike. The build will be fine without them if you see something more appealing like your Wand spell feats or Arcane Accuracy and blah, blah, blah. But these ones, I think, pound for pound right now for your build are the go-to moves. This one here was just because I couldn't think of anything else to grab, quite frankly. And it opens up the potential for some stuff for you. Remember, this means that you can use a wand to cast a spell. So if we have spells that you don't have, but you have a wand of it, and you can cast that wand, like you have enough use magic device to use that wand, here you go. Put the wand in your hand, cast that spell, swing with your sword, thank you spell strike, and thank you spell combat. That's what that's doing for you. Basically, it's treating the wand as if it was a spell cast from you. Good news, right? So that's basically the feats. Again, notice some other things that you get for being Abyssal. Grow Claws, piss all I could give a rat's ass about them. You may like it, I don't know. I've never tried it. I don't think it's worth having, but they're there. May help early levels, I suppose. Here, Athletics is your class skill for being Abyssal, which is why we pumped Athletics like crazy. Notice this one. This one's very misleading. If you were a Sorcerer, this is what this one would be for. You summon things, and now you can increase their damage resistance equal to half your Sorcerer level, or in this case, your Eldritch Scion level. So a maximum of DR 10, penetrated by good weapons, of course. That's good, right? Who wouldn't want that? Well, you don't, and here's why. You don't get any summon spells until level 19, which is what I'm about to show you. It says you get Summon Monster 7, and it says you get Summon Monster 9. You do not. You do not have access to level 7, 8, or 9 spells, so these 3 picks are completely worthless. So don't even bother worrying about that. You can pick summon spells, and I will show you that. I actually picked one for you, or I will, and I'll show you that here in a moment. Notice, though, that you get this as well, added summons. So if you summon more than one creature, which is those summon monster spells where you can pick 1d3 or 1d4 plus 1, right? You actually get another free one. So that's what that's telling you. Instead of 1 to 3, you get 2 to 4. Instead of 2 to 4, or what the hell is that other one? 2 to 5, you get 3 to 6 because of this. So yeah, you have a couple feats that make summoning look appealing, but again, you will not use them until here, which is why you notice in your feat picks, I did not go for augmented summoning, which makes her stronger and more constitution, or superior summoning, or whatever the hell it's called, which is again another buff to your summons, because you're not probably getting a whole lot of them, and you're certainly not going to get them until level 19. So, and you might not even want them, so don't pick that spell. That's fine. But there's no reason to get those 2 feats because it's wasted until now. You will, of course, get Demonic Might. Notice as you level up, you get, where's that? Demon Resistance. You have 5 for Electricity, plus 2 saves against Poison at level 3. That's your Fortitude save. That goes up to plus 10 DR for Electricity at level 9, which is as soon as you get your Strength bump, as well as your Fortitude for Poison saves go up another plus 4, or another plus 2, excuse me, 2 plus 4 now. That's nice because you have a decent Fortitude, especially since we're pumping your Con. The reason I mention this is we have a couple of spells you're going to see are poison spells that are clouds. And in many cases, when I pick them at like level 9 and higher, that's because I know your Fortitude can handle it, which means you can stand in the cloud as a tank, cast it at your feet. You don't suffer any of the penalties so long as you make that Fortitude save. Obviously, a roll of a 1 would screw you, but assuming you don't roll that badly, you can tank with a big group around you, and you're poisoning the shit out of those guys. That's how I would do it. Alright? Now, it's kind of tough, but you can run it. You get all these free spells, so notice you get Cause Fear, which is lame. You out-level it quickly, but use it while it's early. You can scare those bad guys away from you and then beat the crap out of them because they can't attack while they're running away. Bull Strength is useless. Yes, you can buff your strength. You're going to find gear that buffs you or your team anyway, and then they don't overlap. So use it while it's there. Don't worry about it until then. Rage is helpful. Again, I don't particularly like this spell, but it's there. Of course, you get Stone Skin. Now, this one's worth it. Some nice protection for you or someone on your team. Nice damage resistance unless they're wielding adamantine weapons. You do have to use Diamond Dust or whatever to use this spell, but by then you have enough money that you can afford it. Dismissal again is useful for those people that are summoning stuff. Make them go away. Poof. Dismissal for free. Transformation. Now this is the last free spell you get. This one is nice. Yes, you're not going to really care about the strength, the dex, and the con bonus. Why? Because you're going to have gear that pumps all those things. And it'll not stack. It'll be one or the other. It'll be the best strength, the best dex, or the best con bump. So you can guarantee at the very least while this is active, you have at least a +4 to your strength, your dex, and your con. More likely than not, you'll already have that or better. You do get natural armor bonus +4. And you get another +5 to your fortitude save. So standing in those clouds of poison, turn yourself into a fighting machine. You can't cast spells in this form, but you're badass now. That's not a bad spell to have. You do have wings, demonic wings, which give you a bonus to your dodge armor class for melee, and make you immune to ground-based effects like difficult terrain. That's important because the pit fiend that I picked for you, the pitborn, excuse me, get a spell used per day called Stone Call, and that does minor AoE damage. It's a huge AoE effect, but afterwards it provides difficult terrain because of all the stone debris on the ground. At this level and higher, you don't have to worry about that difficult terrain. You just cruise right past it like it's not even there. It's just kind of nice. We can kind of plan around that, especially if you need to bug the hell out. So if you're tanking and things just kind of hit the fan, drop yourself something like that Stone Call or some other spell like Ice Storm that causes difficult terrain, buck out and dodge, and while they're creepy crawling their way away from the center of the blast, you're flying past them because, again, you can fly. Kind of nice. And again, can't stress enough the dodge bonus to melee attacks. What you wanted. Unholy Hour you don't get Summon Monster. You will, once we get to level 20, get Demonic Might, which makes you immune to poison and immune to electricity. And while electricity really doesn't impress me, the poison immunity means you like Cloud Kill, you can stand in that shit. Stand toe to toe with those bad guys and watch their con just strip off of them, and you can't be bothered by it because you're immune to poison. Kind of cool. Also, you get a DR against acid, cold, and fire. That'll be important because I got Acid Fog for you, which does 2 to 12 points of acid damage a round. Yes, you can stand in it. Yes, you will take damage from it sometimes, but only 1 to 2 points a round. That's it. And a huge benefit to you, major penalties to the bad guys, and again, another reason you can just stand in the cloud of awesomeness. So I think you'll like that. From there, let's get on with our spell picks. We have a feat to pick, improved cleaving finish. You can use cleaving finish any number of times per round, much like our greater cleave here, which we can just keep swinging as long as we swing. If you kill something, what we're basically telling you with this one is if you kill something, you can swing to the next target. If you kill that target, you can swing to another target. If you kill that target, you get the idea. So that's what I'll pick for you. Could I pick something else? Sure. What I might pick? Toughness for some extra free hit points for you? Sure. You could have gone... I'm shying away from spell focus, spell penetration, because remember, your DC sucks. We're relying on buffs by and large. So we're ignoring those things. You're not using a shield. Pummeling style, yeah. You do have one improved unarmed strike, so you could pick it, but you already have weapons, and they crit more often than your unarmed strikes would, so I would shy away from this, unless thematically it made sense to you. You could go Iron Will, Lightning Reflexes, get yourself some more saves. Improved critical, you could pick a weapon, and say, I will crit with this weapon more often than not, because I'm increasing the crit range. Sure, but you can find a keen weapon, or use this ability and just turn it into a keen weapon, and it can be any weapon you pick up. So I wouldn't pick it. Hammer the Gap could be okay. Great Fortitude's decent, because again, more fortitude saves. You're standing in poisons and other stuff that you rely on fortitude saves on. It could be okay. Extra Arcane Pool could be okay. If you really want to find exotic weapons that have an 18, 19, 20 crit range, you'd have to pick up exotic weapon proficiency. This could be okay, I suppose. And again, you haven't weapon specialized or weapon focused in any weapon. You're relying on your natural strength and fighting ability to wield that weapon. So you just can't wield any of these unless you pick this feat. I wouldn't go with endurance. Your con's already high enough. Elemental focus, again, no reason to get it. You could do things like Cornigan Smash, using your persuasion, your higher charisma score and points that we have in persuasion, to intimidate targets when we use a power attack move, because power attack will be on. There's no reason we can't do that. And that's, what does that do again? I forget. Demoralizes the opponent. Yeah. And it's like an AoE effect or some such. Combat reflexes could be okay. Additional attacks of opportunity. Your reflexes, or your dexterity is at a 14 right now, so that's a +2. So you could get 2 attacks of opportunity around. Remember, you are the main focus of the fighting. You are the tank, so that's not a bad call. I like the attack of opportunity. And again, it can be any number of things. Blind fighting, weapon focus. We shied away from ranged attacks, so you don't have a lot of beam spells. You don't have anything for archery, so no point blank shot, no precise shot, nothing like that. You're going to be a meleeer, buddy. So the ranged attacks you have are spells or wands. So stick with your wheelhouse, okay? From there, I'm going to pick a level 5 spell, acid spray. From there, this is what I'm talking about, the 6 free spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can pick all 6 from level 6 if I wanted to be a jackass. You can totally do that. The game is broken right now. The tooltip says you can't. The tooltip says you have to pick 1 from each level, from level 1, 2, all the way through 6. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go through all the spells we've picked first, explain why I've picked them, and then I'm going to explain to you what I would pick from level 1 as a last ditch effort spell for when they patch this up, this clear and obvious mistake that they've made. So here's your spells. This includes the free one you get, Cause Fear. I got Shield and Shocking Grasp first. Those are my go-to ones for an Eldritch Scion. Something you can channel through your weapon, something you can use to buff yourself for short periods of time, a win-win. And you cannot carry a shield while wielding your spells, remember this. If you want a shield focus, you can do that. You have to buff up then switch to a sword and board or whatever you're going to do and go to town. There's nothing wrong with that, I've done it before. But you can't cast spells at that point. So it's kind of a last-ditch effort, or do you really need that shield? I'd rather have spells, and this is a pretty nice +4 to your armor class, so might as well take it. I went Corrosive Touch. You don't have to. If you saw my other videos for damage, Corrosive Touch is lame compared to Shocking Grasp. There's nothing about it that's special compared to Shocking Grasp. Shocking Grasp is superior in every way. However, since you really suck, quite frankly, at ranged attacks because your dex is only a 14, I thought, well, maybe you want to hit instead with Acid Splash to kill that troll off. You might want to be able to swing your sword and hit him with your acid sword. So I figured grab Corrosive Touch. We have Cause Fear again for free, and then these ones here are just like utility stuff. This one is really to tank. So is this one, quite frankly. This one is just, it's nice to have Magic Missile. We all know it. Reduced Person, though, doesn't look like it would be a spell that you would tank with, but look at what it does. -2 to your strength, which you can afford. A +2 to dexterity, which you need. A +1 to your attack rolls because you're small and attacking a larger target. And a +1 to your armor class because you're small and they're swinging at a small target. Remember, you can tank being teeny tiny, and it does not matter. They're not like, oh, let's ignore the small fry and let's go for that big dude standing over there. No, you're the guy getting their attention. Doesn't matter if you're the size of a football or size of a freaking football field. So Reduced Person is a tanking move in my opinion. Yes, you'll do less damage. Yes, your weapon will be a smaller category size. But your weapon wasn't what was doing the damage. Remember, it was your strength, your power attack, and your spells you channeling through your weapon. So Reduced Person will be a good way to protect your tank. Rave Enfeeblement, single target now. You got that big heavy hitting piece of piss that's not immune to spells. Use a ranged touch attack on them at range. Hope it lands. It is a touch attack, so you have a better than not chance of landing it. But remember, your dexterity sucks, so you're relying on your base attack bonus being decent to land this move. If it lands, even if they make the fortitude save, they still take half damage to their strength. And that damage can range from a 6 is the minimum, the maximum is 11. So cut that in half, so 3 to 5 about. Still helping you out. He's less likely to hit you, he's doing less damage, and God forbid if you use this move on something as weak as the wizard, they may be at a snail's pace because of the gear they're wearing. Remember, the AI in the game will not drop a shield or kick off their armor just because they're over encumbrance. So if you nerf their strength to the point, it'll never go below 1, but if you nerf it so low that they can't barely move with the gear they got on them, you can have your teammates that run circles around the jackass and beat him like a piñata. So I say this is an okay pick. I could see you chucking it and getting something else. Sure, we'll get you to there in a second to show what other choices you might want, but we'll get you there in a second. From there, Magic Missile again for its utility. And again, any order for most of these, this one's free, so it just shows up. But these two, I would say, would be your go-to at level 1, buddy. From there, if I were to force to pick, which I am saying I am, a level 1 spell from my free picks that you see here, one at each level. For level 1, I would pick something that's auto-hit, like Ear-Piercing Scream, nice sonic damage, has a decent effect associated with it, where they're dazed for 1 round. It's not stellar, but it's there. If they make the save, they're not dazed, and they take half damage, but they will take damage, right? Remember, you miss a lot from the ranged attacks. This doesn't miss. It auto-hits. Burning Hands could work, but your DCs suck, so reflexes are going to be a thing, but you're fighting fighters, you can burn the hell out of them, and it's AoE, so that's kind of nice. From there, a lot of people would say go enlarge person. You're not going to do this. It adds to your strength, sure, you don't need it. It lowers your dex, which you did need, and it lowers your attack rolls, which you needed, and it lowers your armor class, again, which you needed. All bad things. Yes, it increases the damage of your weapon, go to a 1 size category larger. Yes, you could get it and use it on someone besides yourself, sure. But if you're not doing that, I would not use it on your character. Expeditious Retreat if you're going to solo. If you're not going to solo, this is a waste. Notice how it's a personal spell. You don't get to cast it on anyone but you. And if you grab the group and you run as a group, you run as fast as the group runs. Doesn't matter if you're super zippy. You're standing toe-to-toe, side-by-side with those guys, and you're just all pathetically slow. So unless you're going to solo, Expeditious Retreat is a waste. Flare Burst, I could see this being a decent pick early on. And you could pick this early on. So for again, if you wanted to get rid of, say, Rave Enfeeblement for like Flare Burst, you could totally do that. It's a point of effect. I thought it was centered on the caster. Apparently it is not. It is a point of effect circle you get to cast on the ground. So don't cast it on yourself, because you'd have to make that fortitude save. But it will dazzle somebody or anybody that gets caught in it for 1 minute, which gives you great opportunities to beat the crap out of them. But fortitude save completely negates it. Again, your DCs suck. So only use this against things that you know have a low fortitude. I mean, yeah, you can use it on anybody. Maybe you'll get lucky and they'll roll a 1. But by and large, you're really not going to bank on that. Grease, on the other hand, is another utility spell that's particularly useful. I can see you picking that one. It's good from level 1 all the way to level 20 as far as I'm concerned. Yes, reflex negates it. Yes, you can slip and slide on it yourself. Cast it at your feet. Make sure you're not stepping in that zone of circle. Let them slide to you and you just beat the shit out of them. Hypnotism is okay, but you'll out-level it. Mage Armor you don't need unless you're buffing a friend. Again, someone else can do that. Protection from alignment now. I could see picking this right now. Yes, it's late in the game. Yes, you probably have a ring of protection already. But it also gives you saving throw increases against whatever alignment we're talking about. Now that's evil or good, chaotic or lawful, whichever you pick it upon casting it. So it's a decent spell. So is Ray of Sickening, auto hit move as far as I know, fortitude save, or they get sick. And it lasts for a decent amount of time. Single target again, but still cool. Snowball's decent, but again your attack bonus is the only thing you're really banking on here, and the fact that their touch attack is low. Good cold damage. Not good range. Does have that fortitude save or they're staggered, which again is helpful, but I can't see you needing it. And same with like your summon monster one is lame. Touch of Gracelessness, you're more likely to want to just straight up attack somebody, but you do have spell combat, so you could use this spell and then swing your sword. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that I wouldn't. I will suggest, and I'm going to pick it here, True Strike. A lot of people will poo-poo it, and yes, it's not the best spell ever. A wand of this would be better, quite frankly. But, barring that, if you really need to land the next hit, True Strike is nice. A plus 20 insight bonus to swinging on a target. Yes, it's only the very first next swing that you have. It's not even like the Dimension Strike or Arcane Accuracy where it's a bump that lasts for an entire combat round. No, this is just the spell lasts for a round, but the very first attack you do after you cast your strike gets a plus 20. That's it. The spell's done. Sometimes I think you might need that to really land that final blow. When they're like immune to magic missiles, your weapon was doing great, but it won't hit all the time. Here you go, True Strike that bastard. So I'm going to pick that as your level 1. Level 2 pick. Slide up here. Now, you're going to stay away from all the buffing spells for one. Unless you want to be that guy that buffs your team, I can't see you needing any of them. Yes, you got Bull Strength, but you got it for free. So use it because you have it. Other than that, ignore it. Bears, Endurance, Cats, Grace, the same. The other ones show up now too, and yes, they have some help. Give you increased intelligence or wisdom. Wisdom will increase your will saves. Intelligence will increase your skill rolls. So will wisdom, so will charisma. But it's not worth writing home about, and you're more likely to have gear that bumps those things too. So pass on those things. For the spells that I picked for you, the first two, Mirror Image, Frigid Touch, again, staples. Melee touch attack that you can channel through your weapon, that's Frigid Touch. Mirror Image, nice protection for you, and you are the tank, so you're going to be swung at a lot. Nice to have it. So this one here is nice. It's not as good as Shocking Grasp, but it's better than Shocking Grasp in that it does an effect. If they fail, or sorry, there is no save. They get staggered for 1 round. If you crit, they get staggered for 1 minute. That's a pretty nice effect for you. Guaranteed effect unless they're immune to staggered. Or, of course, you miss your attack, right? So I like Frigid Touch for that reason alone. I could pick anything else for a ranged attack. Remember, your ranged attack sucks. But I figured, what the hell, Acid Arrow's nice. Scorching Ray's nicer, shorter range. And you don't have point blank shot, and you don't have precise shot. So, to start a salvo off, I would say, pick a target. I choose you. Acid Arrow that son of a bitch right in the face, and charge them from that point on. So you've already attacked, you've gained initiative, and you're starting the combat. Maybe you get lucky, catch the son of a bitch flat-footed. From there, other spells that I picked were these ones here. Remember, Bull Strength was free. Blur is a watered-down version of Displacement, which you'll see in next level. But you can get it early. You're going to be the tank. You're going to need it. 20% chance that they'll just straight up miss you. And that's any attack where they're focusing on you. Not area of effects, but ray attacks, melee attacks, ranged arrow attacks, and bolts and missile storm, or not missile storms, but like what do you call them, bullets, and all that fun stuff. 20% chance to just straight up miss you, period, anyway. Same with melee attacks. 20% chance they'll just miss you. And it lasts, unlike Displacement, which is 1 round per level, 1 minute per level. So I like it for that reason alone. Glitter Dust breaks my rule of your DCs suck, and you're probably not going to land all these things. Yes, this thing is going to suck. It probably won't land that will effect that blinds them. However, there's another effect that goes with it. Even if they make the will save, they still get, if they're in the area of effect that you casted, they take a -40 to their stealth. So this way you light up like a Christmas tree all those goddamn sneaking rogues to keep them from critting you and sneak attacking you. So yes, they may blind them, and even if you don't, so what? You can see them now. That's the reason for Glitter Dust. Effortless Armor was a weird pick. I picked it because you are athletically inclined, and eventually you're going to be wearing some of the best armor out there, I'm assuming, which invokes a penalty to your physical skills, which include athletics. So cast Effortless Armor on yourself. Now that penalty is removed up to a maximum of 5, which I think is probably all the armors, damn near. So wear that plate mail and still do your athletics checks because you have Effortless Armor on yourself. Now, these are the spells I picked for you as you're leveling up. What would I pick now that you're level 19 and you have to pick a free one, right? So here we are, level 2. Ones that I would pick, good ones for you. Bone Shaker, auto hit, decent range, scaling damage. At this level, you don't get much better than this. And that's all it does. Yes, there's a save. They take half damage. But if you need to do damage, here it is. Burning Arc, you don't have good reflex DCs, so those reflex saves are going to hit you. But it bounces from target to target to target. So it's a decent AoE effect. Damn near as good as Fireball, almost, in my opinion. And it's teammate friendly because it doesn't target your teammates, it targets enemies only. Yes, they can reflex save to where nothing happens to them, but you can do that for a lot of these spells. False Life, if you really want some extra HP, 1 hour per level. This is 11 to 20 hit points. It's not amazing, but it's there if you really felt you needed it. Molten Orbolt auto hit, from what I understand, for the direct hit. That's 2d6 points of fire damage to that first target. Splash damage is a reflex save for everyone around him, and everyone that takes damage will burn for 1 to 6 more points of fire damage each round for 1 to 3 rounds. That's not a huge amount, but it's guaranteed fire damage with that direct hit, from what I understand. So I could see that being a good opening move, and it pulls, because it's AoE effect, a lot of guys to your attention. Remember, you are the tank. This is kind of like a taunt move as far as I'm concerned. But there are things like resist energy, protection from air, you're probably out leveling it. Protection from alignment, communal, could be okay. You do a lot of poison moves. If you got a guy that's a little more resistant than you'd like, not immune, but resistant, he has a huge fortitude save, let's say, you can knock that down by 4 points with this spell. It's a lot of effort and a waste of a spell pick, in my opinion, but it's not a waste if it kills the bad guy, right? So it's up to you, but I could see you using that. I won't fault you if you did. I would probably say resist energy is good. Sense Vitals is one that I always like to get, but you're getting it at level 19. It seems like a waste at this point. Yeah, it's good sneak attack damage, but unless you got someone standing next to you, what's the chances you can get that sneak attack damage? You have no flanking. If you're the tank and no one's standing side by side with you, there's no one flanking the bad guy. So you really can't get that. And you're probably not going to stealth anywhere. You're the tank. So I wouldn't do it. Stone Call you got for free anyway, once per day. If you really like it, you could pick this now. I could see it, or get rid of something else that I picked. But it's minimum damage, huge effect. Minimum damage though, I didn't like it. Same with these summonings here, not a big fan. Web, again, not a big fan, and it's sticky, gets in the way of you and your team. I would suggest resist energy if you want to damage Bone Shaker. It's decent, and it's decent range, medium range. So, and guaranteed damage. Even if they make the fortitude save, they're only taking half. But they still take damage. Level 3 now. Spells I picked, first 2 right off the bat. Displacement and Fireball. Judgment Call. Displacement's decent. Again, 50% chance to miss you just straight away because of concealment. There's ways around that, sure. And when you have those guys that are concealed from you, you will hate them. Just like they hate you because you have displacement on your character. It only lasts for 1 round per level, so that's not great. But it's good. And you already had Blur. So this is the big brother of Blur. Just doesn't last as long. Shoots his wad quite quickly. Have Blur in your back pocket for when you really need to have some kind of protection. If you don't have at least Blur on yourself, you better have displacement on yourself, is what I would say. Fireball, your first really decent AoE attack for you. Get good at casting it at your feet where it doesn't hurt you. Make sure when you cast it, I make this mistake a lot. If you cast it and you're on melee attack, remember you have spell combat and spell strike more likely than not on. You will cast a spell and then you will try to attack, which means you will cast a spell and you will run into the fireball. So click that little X button. It's on the bottom over here. That stops your movement when you cast fireballs. So click the X, click fireball, cast it at your feet, let it explode, let them run to you, then you start swinging. Otherwise you'll run into your own damn fireball every time. It's really annoying. Rage we get for free. I don't know enough about it to give a damn, but it's there. Haste is a judgment call. You don't have to pick haste, but it's a great spell in my opinion. More armor for dodge, yes. More attack bonus, yes. Another attack around, yes. Team friendly, yes. More speed for everybody. You know, see what I'm saying here? Haste is a great spell. Doesn't last very long again, just like displacement, but I have Metamagic Extend for these reasons, so that at least we can get double the effect, right? Or duration, excuse me. Stinking Cloud, I actually picked before Vampiric Touch, and let me tell you why. Vampiric Touch is a great spell. Free hit points for you if it lands, and damages the bad guy. And it does up to 60 points of damage, which is amazing. It scales really slowly, because it's 1d6 for every 2 caster levels. By the time you get this spell at the very beginning, it'll only do like 3d6 or 4d6 of damage. It's not amazing. So, I postponed it. We had other spells that were just as good, and I grabbed Stinking Cloud first. This was at level 9. The reason for this was because at level 9 you had that plus 40 your fortitude saves to poison. Stinking Cloud is a poison. I just proved it to myself. You do get the +4 to the save. Again, a 1 would screw you, but you need like a 2 or a 3 with the bonus that you had at this level, at level 9. When you picked up this spell, you actually had such a high fortitude save at that point, and unbuffed, mind you, fortitude save, that I think you only needed like a 3 to pass your own DC check. So more likely than not, you can stand in the cloud and let them be nauseous while you're basically poking them in the face with whatever sharp stick you got. That's what I would do. Then Vampiric Touch was the obvious choice after that. From there, I just picked something, and Dispel Magic is a decent enough pick. I said, what the hell? So, free pick from here. Level 3, I will pick Heroism right off the bat. From there, other choices that you may like instead, because we're going to get greater Heroism too, mind you. You could have gone Lightning Bolt. I'm not real fan of it, but you can do it. It's a beam. It's an electric attack at a straight line. Good distance of that line, 120 damn feet. You could do protection from energy. You could resist energy communal. If you hadn't picked up resist energy now, there's a chance to get a communal version. It doesn't last long, but it's there. Slow we could have got as we leveled up. I decided not to get it, but it's decent and teammate friendly, and if you're the tank, cast it at your feet, debuff all the enemies around you. Why not? And even if they only affect 2 out of the 5 guys standing around you, it did its job, right? Lowers their attack, lowers their reflexes, lowers their armor class, all good stuff, and slows their speed in the same process, right? Very good. This would be the first summon spell I would suggest you could get if you really wanted to go that route. Remember, you have feats that buff your summons. This is the first one that I would pick. I don't like it. It's not good. It's not great. Even with your summon buffs, I consider it lackluster. So I would pass on it. But you can if you want. Level 4. Here's the spells I picked. The very first 2. Remember, you get Stone Skin for free. You may not get it immediately, but you'll get it eventually. Dragon's Breath is an amazing spell. Yes, your DCs suck, but at the very least you have cones, you have lines, you have multiple different types of elemental attacks built into it, and there's no spell resistance, so that's a nice spell. Shield of Dawn, if they're swinging at you because you're the tank, and they should be, eventually they're going to hit you. Why not set them on fire when they hit you? That's my logic here. Stone Skin for obvious protection for yourself. Shout, because while this covers every element that you want, it doesn't cover sonic. That's what Shout does. And it's a nice 30-foot cone, and there's a nice stun, and it's a fortitude save, not a reflex save like Dragon's Breath. So a different type of save, which I'm a big fan of. So nice. Dimension Door for its utility, especially if you're tank and you're surrounded by bad guys and you just need to get the hell out of there. Don't forget you can teleport. Cast that spell, get the hell out of there. Ice Storm, no saving throw associated with it. Summons a big ice storm down, does cold damage and bludgeoning damage and a massive AoE effect, and puts difficult terrain down, which with your wings is not a problem. You skitter right across those damn things. From here, if I were to pick a level 4 spell, where would I pick? Animate Dead. If you want to have something to summon, why not pick this one? It's not stellar. I have no idea that it's better or worse than the summon creature one that you have at level 4, which is way the hell down here. Summon monster 4, excuse me. But wolves and lizards don't impress me, and one dire wolf isn't anything that's going to scare the shit out of the bad guys at level 19. I can't imagine. It'll help you flank things, don't get me wrong. It's good for pulls and what have you. But this here is a cadre of skeletal champions that you've just buffed up with damage reduction, whatever abilities they already have built into them, and you can summon one more of them because you have that other feat that lets you add an extra one. So you have 3 to 6 becomes 4 to 7 skeletal champions that you summon. Yes, they don't last a long time. Yes, they'll probably get floored quickly, but they're also undead, so they're immune to a lot of shit. That's the one I would pick. From there, other options would be Bone Shatter, another auto-hit move, the big brother of Bone Shaker, whatever the hell that one was earlier. Does a lot of damage. There's a save to it, but it saves for half damage and makes the exhaustion effect that you were going to slap on them downgrade to a fatigue effect. If they fail that fortitude save, mind you, they are exhausted. Remember, exhausted is a -6 to strength and a -6 to dexterity. That's single target, guaranteed damage, and a really nice debuff. And if they make the save, it's half damage, and they're still debuffed by strength and dex by -2. So Bone Shatter is a definite option, but you already took Bone Shaker, so it's better. Don't get me wrong, Bone Shatter is definitely better, but up to you. I like the pets, so I'm going to use this as the chance to pull out a pet. Other choices could have been Controlled Fireball, minimum damage, if any, to you. You stand right there, cast at your damn feet. If you're the tank, poof, 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 fireball, 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 right in the center of it, and watch them just die. Other choices could be Innervation. It's an auto-hit move, floors their levels. They can die from this if you take them to 0 levels, if I'm understanding this correctly. Greater False Life, even more hit points. So again, a total of, 22 to 40 extra hit points, temporarily, of course, for 1 hour per level. At this level, it's level 19 hours. So pretty decent health bump if you really wanted it. This is a viable choice. Fear is good as well. You don't out-level it, but again, your DC is not amazing. Obsidian Flow is decent, but it lasts for so long that it's kind of an annoyance. You could do Mass-Produced Person, and let me explain why. What's good for you is good for your team. There's no reason not to shrink you and your party. However, if you didn't want to get, for whatever reason, Reduced Person here, you could pick up Mass-Produced Person here. It's the same spell. It's just AoE effect now. Same duration, 1 minute per caster level. Yes, it's a level 4 spell. It's kind of a waste of a level 4 pick as far as I'm concerned, but if you really wanted it, it's an extra casting of a spell you know you're going to need to tank effectively. Go for it. Touch of Slime is another viable option. You could tank a bad guy, touch him with this, swing with your sword, and he's going to continue to take constitution damage every round until he basically cures it, which he won't be able to do because you're swinging at the son of a bitch. He'll eventually die, is my logic behind this. You have to do a touch attack on him to make it work, but your strength is through the damn roof. You have a better chance to land that touch attack better than most people. So it's a viable choice. Again, I'm going with the Animate Dead. Level 5 now. The spells that I picked for level 5 were a poison that you can stand in, and at level 20 you are immune to. So that's awesome. Gives you a bunch of cool shit, and this is a good boss killer. Vampiric Shadow Shield, for the obvious reasons. If they're going to swing at you, if you're going to set them on fire, why not also suck some of their life force and add it to your health? Because why the hell not? Sounds like a plan. From there, Dismissal. Get rid of their summons. Why not? Elemental Body 2 was just a judgment call. There's really not a lot of great stuff at level 5 that you can pick as you level up. So these three were kind of like, pick what you want. But I hear that this one's useful, has some utility. This one was better than Acidic Spray for me because it's easier to aim. This one don't do more damage, but it's harder to aim because it's a straight line. You could have just as easily gone Fire Snake. It's teammate friendly, where these two are not. And it does fire damage, but these all have reflex saves. And again, your DC isn't amazing, so you may miss. Be warned. If I were to pick a level 5 spell, what I would pick for you would be Shadow Evocation, without even looking any further. Yes, there's other stuff in here. Stone Skin Communal's okay. Summon Monster 5's decent. If you wanted to go that route, here's your chance. Don't pick Large Elemental, and you really think it's going to benefit you, because you only have one feat that's benefiting it. The damage reduction that you're getting from being a level 1 Abyssal Bloodline. This one here, you can summon multiple Dire Wolves, an extra one as well. You can summon multiple Monitor Lizards, an extra one as well. All of those have DR now because of your feats. The Red Cap, if you're evil, with the Barlani Izada is there. You don't get 2 of them, you only get 1, but they still have DR now because of your Abyssal Bloodline. So again, it's decent, but this one is a utility spell. Multiple spells that you can cast from it. If you need a Fireball, here you go. You need a Lightning Bolt, here you go. Ice Storm, or that Firestorm one's called Volcanic Storm, I think. There you go. You want Shout, because you've already used up yours, here you go. You got a level 5 version of it built into here. So that's what I would suggest. Level 6, the ones I picked for you. First off, and to remind you, the one that was free, which was the one, Dismissal? I think Dismissal was free. Yeah. First level 6, the one that was free was Transformation. So obviously a good spell anyway. You're going to pick it if you didn't have it. So nice that it got it for free. The first 2 you picked, though, were True Seeing. So you can see those blurred or displaced targets or invisible creatures and not have to worry about it, baby. True Seeing. Dragonkind, for obvious reasons. This one stacks with the bonuses you get from either spells. So like if you wanted Bull Strength to be cast on you, you have that spell. That's a plus 4 to your strength. You cast this on you, another plus 4 to your strength. So now we can put your strength from 32 up to 40, buddy, with 2 spells and 1 piece of gear. That's pretty flippin' huge. You have more con, and that can be stacked as well. You have more natural armor class, that can be stacked. Immunity to difficult terrain, which you already had because of your wings anyway. You get a breath weapon, only once, but you have a breath weapon of whatever type of dragon you turn into. Does okay damage too, a reflex save, and it saves based on being a level 6 spell, so that's pretty decent. Lasts for a good long while, and here's the coup de grace, bud. You can cast spells in dragon form. Dragonkind is the obvious pick here. Transformation is a great spell. Dragonkind, then transformation. Try not to do it the other way, because you can't cast spells once you transform. But these can stack, and this is useful. So if you don't have any kind of buffs on you, no special gear, turn into a dragon, then transform, you will get retarded numbers for your physical stats and do really decent damage and have pretty good attack bonus to boot. Sirocco is a judgment call. You're not immune to fire, but you could be resistant to fire if you turn into the right kind of dragon, if I'm not mistaken, and there's spells that can protect you and gear that can protect you. This one was because it's a good AoE move. You're a tank. Herd them into a corner, face them away from the corner so they're all pinned you down, cast Sirocco at your feet where you're not standing in the Sirocco. When they all charge you and start taking damage and falling to the ground, teleport to the other side and just stand there at distance and attack them with either more Siroccos, Acid Fog, AoE moves like Fireball and Lightning spells from Shadow Evocation, and you get the idea. Acid Fog was an earlier pick. I could have put this off to level 20 if you really wanted to. The reason for it being a later pick could be for this. Once you get to level 20, you have a DR against Acid of 10. You can stand an Acid Fog then at level 20 that you cast, and the maximum damage it can do is 2 to 12. So, if it rolls an 11 or a 12, you will take 1 or 2 points of damage per round. That's it. But so are all the bad guys around you. They're taking 2 to 12 points of damage unless they're immune or resistant to acid. And there's massive penalties to them. There's an armor class bonus to you for standing in the cloud against ranged targets. It's a win-win-win. Hellfire Ray, I think you got that one for free because I don't remember picking it. If I picked it, that was a mistake. Oh, I picked it because of here. There we go. So this would be your free pick. So here's the free pick for level 6, what I would get you. I would go, I would stay away from all the mass buffs, again, for the same reason. You have gear that's better. Beast Shape has some utility. You can't cast spells in it. Shambling Mountain, I think, is immune to electricity, possibly, or poisons, or both. So there's some things there that are helpful, I suppose. You could try it. Chain Lightning's okay, but you can get that as a free pick, or a pick as you level up anyway. So I could have picked Chain Lightning instead of Acid Fog, for instance. And I probably will pick it at level 20. Other good stuff though, Greater Dispel Magic, Greater Heroism, Tarpool will be okay, Undeath, Summon Monster 6 is a decent one at this level, get some pretty decent stuff that you can buff up with that feats of yours, but I'm going to go Greater Heroism. And yes, I know that's redundant because we have Heroism. Remember, you can cast these on anybody. You, your buddies. So use the good one for you, use the other one for your buddy. That's the way I'd go. From there, the last level, True Magus, 18 con, 203 hit points, baby. Get that up to 3, because you have to have that at 3, remember. And I'm just going to throw that in perception just to do something with it. Level 4 pick. Again, here's level 4, here's all the stuff you have. None of these are interesting to me. You're not an invisible stalker type. You don't need elemental body 1, it's lame. You already have level 2. Controlled Fireball would be the pick that would make sense to me. Again, mass reduced person, if you think that would be something you would benefit from. You already have it at level 1, so it's a bigger version. But it's there. Level 6 pick, and this is where you get back to your limited choices again. I would pick from here probably Chain Lightning. And then really that's it. Because these ones here, yes, they could land. Hellfire Ray could land. Umbral Strike could land. You don't have the best dexterity. You do have a decent attack bonus, but you do not have a good dexterity. So if you really think you can land them, I would pick Hellfire Ray, quite frankly. Umbral Strike's decent too. Disintegrates amaze balls. but one of those three for some ranged utility. Pick the one that has the best range. Medium, close, medium. So Unbolt Strike or Disintegrate wins out over Hellfire Ray, which seems weird because Hellfire Ray does a retarded amount of damage. But each ray has to hit. This one is one ray has to hit. This one is one ray has to hit. And so now the argument then would be, well, then there's more chances to hit and do damage, but it will be less damage if it's only one of the three beams hit. It's up to you. I like Chain Lightning though because it's auto hit move. They just have to make a reflex save. Zip, hit everybody, and it's teammate friendly. With that, that's your build, bro. You have all these abilities. Cleave, again, you'd have to click a target. So you see it's highlighted. It's forcing me to pick a target to cleave. And I don't know why I have two of them. That seems weird. Fighting defensively is the one you're going to want to have on. The -4 penalty is now a -1. Thank you, Crane Style, and the other feats that go with it. And we have 3 or more ranks in mobility, so we have a +3 to dodge now instead of a +2. You have Spell Strike and Spell Combat. Mobility if you need it. Here's your free Stone Call. Once, look at the AoE effect of this goddamn thing. It's only 2 to 12 points of damage, and it's physical damage, so it's not much. But it'll hit a AoE group like no one's business. And it's free. You get it once per day. We got our Prescient Attack, of course. Dimension Strike, of course. We have Enduring Blade, which is amazing. Keen Weapons. Fire, Shock, and Frost Weapons. Speed Weapons. Ghost Touch Weapons. Brilliant Energy Weapons. Claw Moves. We have Power Attack. We have Wings to protect us. We have Bane Weapons. And then your trifecta. You can either have +2 to attack, +2 to spell DC, or +2 to spell pen. I would just leave it on attack bonus, buddy. That's it. That's everything. Now, one last point to mention. Go to your spell book. Remember we picked one meta magic. Don't forget to do this once you get that meta magic through your spell book. Every time you level up and have a spell, see if it can be extended. Or if you went empowered, do that, or maximized. I say extend because you're going to be a tank. You want buffs to last longer. That's why I went with extend. You can do whatever you want. But now shield you can cast it at level 1, or you can cast it at level 2, and it lasts twice as long. So what was a 20-minute spell is now a 40-minute spell. And all you had to do was waste a level 2 spell slot to do it. So, same with Blur, same with any of the other buffs. The ones that have effects on others, some of these are kind of wasted. Look at this. Oh, it staggers for 1 round, guaranteed. Well, I could stagger it if I extended it for 2 rounds. That might be useful. It may not be anything for you. It's up to you. Same with these other ones, like Glitter Dust. The gold particles on them, 1 round per level. Now it's 2 rounds per level. Blur, 1 minute per level turns into 2 minutes per level. That's not bad. Same with Mirror Image, Effortless Armor, Haste. It goes from 1 round per level to 2 rounds per level. So again, you see the use of these things. Vampiric Touch lasts for an hour. Why not have extra hit points that last you for up to 2 hours? As long as you're not taking damage, why not just have them, right? Heroism doesn't even really need it, but you will do it. And here's why. Because you may run out of level 3 castings of Heroism in any other spell, but you'll extend it, and now you could cast it as a level 4 version. Yes, it would be longer than you possibly could need it, but if you need the spell, make sure to go through and extend everything that can be extended. You may not need it, but it's there in your back pocket when you do. That's what I'm suggesting. Now just a quick breakdown then again of your spells for what you can expect. +4 to armor class. +2 more to armor class. Just with these 2 spells, now you've increased your armor class 6 points. Because you're smaller and you have higher dexterity. Assuming you can capitalize on that dexterity, of course. That's a big point. So at least +5 to +6 of armor class. I should say it that way. Here, that's not even armor class. That's a direct chance of them missing you. They hit the image and not you. Poof, you're fine. Blur, 20% chance to just straight up miss you. You're fine. Over here, 50% chance to straight up miss you. You're fine. +1 to armor class, that's dodge armor class, and as well as an attack bonus for you as well. +2 to your attack bonus here. Rage, which I never use, let's just look at it real quick. -2 to armor class, I don't like it. That increases your strength and con and will saves and blah blah blah, but by and large, it's rage. I don't like rage. damage reduction for everything except for adamantine weapons. That's nice. And of course, spells. But if it's a weapon attack, a physical attack, if it's adamantine, it doesn't do you a damn bit of good. But if it isn't, that will help you out. From there, you can stand in the cloud because you're immune to poison now. You heal from the attacks that are damaging you. That's something at least. Plus to your con, which means extra hit points, as well as natural armor bonus +4 to your armor. Transformation, again, if you have these buffs, it doesn't do you a damn bit of good, but if you don't, you got a +4 to strength, dex, and con, +4 natural armor class bonus, +5 to fortitude saves. And your BAB turns into whatever a BAB would be of the fighter of this level. So instead of a BAB of 15, you have a BAB of 20, buddy. You cannot cast spells in this form. Be warned. This is your last spell you use at level 6. Greater Heroism gives you a +4 to your swings, as well as some extra hit points. Acid Fog gives you some armor class if you're standing in the fog, which you will do, because you can resist most of the damage. And of course that will be only armor against ranged attacks, but you penalize anyone in the fog for melee attacks, so it's the same as giving you armor of +2 to melee attacks. It does penalize your attacks as well, be warned, but you can get through a -2 penalty, I'm sure. With that though, you're going to want to make sure you have good armor, not necessarily the best armor, plate mail and what have you. Yes, you can wear it. I would suggest you keep 2 to 3 different kinds of armor in your build. You're strong enough, you can carry it. Hell, right now you can carry 700 pounds. So I would have full plate mail or banded mail or half plate, the best one you find. Have that in your kit. Have a good, what's that one that's the medium, the breastplate in your kit. And then have leather armor in your kit, the best one you find, not studded leather. And I say that because you're more likely than not, you're going to pump this dexterity through the roof. You can add probably another 4 points to the bonus here because of gear. So that means a +2 becomes a +6 bonus to your armor class. We can't use it to the full effect thanks to studded leather only gives you 5, as you see in this little pop-up window. Leather armor though, or padded I suppose too, will allow you to use that full +6 to your dexterity for your armor class. So leather armor, which is a 2, can use that 6 for dex, making that 8 to your armor class. That's an armor class of 18, and that's before it's enchanted, plus shield spell, plus all the other stuff we just talked about. You should have a pretty solid armor class, a reasonable touch armor class, not amazing, but remember you have displacement and blur and all those fun things that prevent them from touching you in the first place. Flat-footed, you're kind of screwed unless you're wearing that plate mail or banded mail or that half plate. Alright, with that though, buddy, I think that's your build. Yes, you can tweak it to your liking, do what you do. If you don't like a spell pick, or you don't like a feat pick, or you would have taken a different route, just tell me what you did different, because I'm curious what you did. But with that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.